It's the block party right here on the OH.Report, North Central Ohio's first and only volleyball show, presented to you exclusively by Bob and Bob Door Company right here in Mansfield. My name is Jonathan Langdon. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 1 of this show last week. If you didn't, make sure to go pause and go and take a look at that episode back from 7 days ago. We've got plenty more planned this time around. A lot of love on the first show. We're going to jump right into the action because we had a lot going on this past week. You may have noticed on our social medias, we're starting this thing called the OH Recap. Well, we're going to bring it here on this volleyball show. It's your block party OH Recap. Right before episode 1 of the block party, Buckeye Central took full control Thursday night of the Northern 10 with a 3-set win over Cary. AJ Jury in the game had a team-high 11 kills, but it was Marin McDougall, the senior, who dominated in the win. 23 assists, 7 digs, and 8 aces. A phenomenal performance from Buckeye Central as they continue to surge towards the top of the league. For Cary, they stay up there, but they definitely have an uphill battle ahead of them. Cary had their juniors Riley Stoops and Abby Seeger combined for 12 kills, while Seeger had 6 blocks of her own in that game against Buckeye Central. Fredericktown made it 7 wins in their last 8 games in a Mount Gilead sweep Thursday night. Ella Boughton and Maya Bryant are the star seniors for this group. They speared the Indians with a combined 27 kills, 13 digs, and 5 aces. Great performance for the Freddies as they continue to surge towards the top of the KMAC standings and try to keep it close as they face off with Centerburg in the last game of the KMAC season. Was short. The Hillsdale Falcons snapped their 3-game losing streak in a sweep over Northwestern on Thursday. Played against the top 3 WCAL teams in those losses, Smithville, Norwayne, and Dalton in that order. So the win over Northwestern is a step in the right direction for the Falcons. We'll skip our Saturday night coverage for now. Let's jump to Bucyrus, who flexed their N10 muscles in their sweep over Northmor on Monday night. 3 Lady Redmen recorded over 10 kills: Aubrey Kimmel, Haley Stratton, and Peyton Fackler. Got to talk to Aubrey and Haley on our Coach's Corner last week. Also got to talk to head coach Amber Christie during that Coach's Corner as well. Travis also caught up with her after their win over Northmor. Here's what she had to say.
Bucyrus Lady Red, Coach Christie, congratulations. Great to see you win. First time I met you, you were on the call with me right here a couple years ago for a Northmor Crawford match, but now to see you coaching your Lady Red to a big victory over Northmor, just, what does a win like this do for you guys? I know last year we talked on the Coach's Corner about being a young squad, a lot of youth, just have to learn to play together as a family, and you'll get there. It seems like you're starting to get there now, Coach.
The girls are working really, really hard. This was a huge win for us. We had a big win a week ago on Thursday. We went 5 Winford, and then we took a heartbreaker loss against Upper on Tuesday. But this coming in here today, I mean, we had a good heart-to-heart on Wednesday and Friday, our practice then. But these girls don't stop. They work very, very hard, and the biggest thing that we are working on is our mental game. Just knowing that when the ball comes over and maybe we're out of system, that they need to understand what they need to do with the ball. If it's the first hit or if it's the second hit, they don't have to hurry up and try to push the ball over.
I was just talking in our MVP interview with Haley Stratton that, don't let your record deceive you. I know it says you're 6-8 right now, 2-6 in the conference, but the Northern 10's a pretty darn good volleyball conference. I mean, you start off 3-1, then you fall to Cary, Buckeye Central, Seneca East, who are all district contenders. Edison, out of conference, district contender. Mohawk, state ranked. I mean, you go through a stretch like that, but to see you guys recover after that and win 3 of your next 5 matches, that's got to say a lot about this squad, where you go through a tough meat grinder against some really good competition, and you come back out on the other side and still win.
Absolutely. The girls know they have it within them. We talk all the time about belief and trusting your teammates. and understanding that, we have some good swingers on our team, but we don't necessarily yet have a person that we can trust to put the game away for us. So I tell the girls all the time, we have to play as a unit, and we have to play well.
Yeah.
And we can get the win against anybody.
Yeah.
But we can't come and have 2 or 3 girls show up, so like that. And tonight, they played very, very well. I'm extremely proud of them.
Yes, they did. I mean, you have 6 juniors, 3 sophomores, and a lone senior. Seeing this happen this year, you still have, looks like you're starting to peak at the right time. You have the second half of your season, maybe a run in the tournament. But what's this say about this junior group being a part of this, getting a taste going into next year? I know we still have a lot of time left this year, but coming into next year when you have 6 seniors coming back and 3 juniors, this has to say a lot.
It does, and those girls do play club too, so I'm sure that they're going to look at this season and say, wow, look at the difference in how much better I am this year from last year. And just knowing that, 1 year on them playing hard and working hard, what they can accomplish. But we will keep dead set that it is a team game. Individuals don't win, teams win, and that is exactly what we're trying to build the culture around.
Great to hear from Coach Amber Christie. A big piece to what Bucyrus is doing to change the culture around Bucyrus volleyball. Get the girls excited about the game. Again, they're having a really solid season. They sit 6-9 at the time of this recording. Let's get back to the highlights, however. Taking a look at St. Paul as they host Mohawk, and the Warriors of Mohawk took down the top Fireland squad in 5 sets. It was a thriller over there at the launch pad. Biz Klopp had a huge game for Mohawk, tying her season high with 29 kills and 8 blocks. Well, despite the loss for Norwalk St. Paul, they still celebrated a really special accomplishment from their old head coach, Nancy Miller. She came back to the launch pad to be honored as she is now inducted into the Ohio High School Volleyball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. She had a lot to talk with us about pregame before things got started again between Mohawk and Norwalk St. Paul. Chris Belisle has to talk with her.
Special guest now, and some people get Hall of Fame awards to their schools. You got the big. Grace said this is the big one. We're joined by Nancy Miller, Hall of Fame coach, Norwalk St. Paul. We look behind you there, and there's some huge banners.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ohio High School Volleyball Coaches Association. What does that mean to you?
Oh, just the fact that it's from my peers and just being recognized, I guess, for all the years, I think of hard work and amount of hours that I think coaches, and not just volleyball, coaches in general spend in the gym and, spend in the off season and spend during club season. And, I guess just being, recognized for a little bit of that, but I've said I've always been very, very blessed with really good athletes and, really good families that support the program. So, and that itself makes a huge difference.
Now, we're not going to make this teary-eyed, but I know you, in your speech there, you said, man, I spent a lot of time away from my family. What a great family you have. I got a chance to coach your boys in basketball and had a great time. But as a coach myself, I think everybody knows you've got to have a family that really understands what you're doing.
I do, and that started with my mom and dad. My mom and dad, never missed a game I played. And I played, junior high, high school, and then I played 4 years of college. And we had some years where we played, 50 matches a year in college, and my parents never missed a match. And I was so blessed. And I was from the era where when we were playing in high school, there might have been 2 or 3 sets of parents, be max, sitting in the stands. And that was the one thing I always said attracted me here at St. Paul's. When I first started back in 1989, and the amount of support from the parents and the support for the program from the parents was remarkable.
I think every record in volleyball coaching, at least at St. Paul's, been broken through you. But you've got to be thrilled to come back here now after you've retired and see one of your own that you coached on a state championship team. Angie's got the program rolling.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And Angie coached with me like the last, 5-6 years there that I coached. And, it was just a natural transition with Angie. I think our beliefs and our philosophies are very much in line with each other. So it was a very easy transition. And I mean, Angie's just a phenomenal coach, I think, and she's done a great job with the program, and I'm so proud to see that. But you look at that whole staff as all former players, and I mean, that just makes me so excited.
Well, we couldn't get your presentation on the air, so we wanted to get you up here.
Thank you.
Your name is synonymous with volleyball, synonymous with greatness here. What are you doing with your free time now? You get the itch to get back in the gym?
I don't really think I have free time. I think, because I'm still teaching. I just retired from coaching is all I did. So I'm still teaching. This year is a very busy year for us because we lost a math teacher at the beginning of the year. And so Mr. Springer and I have had to absorb all those classes from losing a teacher. And so it's just, I have like 6 preps. And so math is consuming me. Plus I coach clubs still in the spring. I coach with Sarah Kipp, Norwalk's head coach. Her and I have coached together probably the last 4 years or so. And I love coaching with Sarah and love coaching club with her. And, she's another one, her philosophies and that. I mean, we love, talking volleyball with each other. So
excellent. Well, 2-time state champion, 3-time state runner-up, now a member of the Ohio High School Volleyball Coaches Hall of Fame. How sweet that sounds. Thank you for joining us.
And I'll tell you, sitting here next to Coach Hutchinson,
yes,
and, just her over the years, what an inspiration. I know she has always been to me in a lot of facets of volleyball. So from what she did at Norwalk to what she did with North Shore Volleyball. And I mean, I've always been proud to be part of that club.
That was your OH recap. We had plenty of volleyball the past week. We're going to have plenty more this week to bring back another recap for episode 3, so make sure you stick around for that. Also, we're going to take one quick commercial break as the block party presented by Bob and Bob Door Company returns after this.
The Block Party, North Central Ohio's only volleyball show, is presented live and free to fans by the door experts at Bob and Bob Door Company, dedicated to providing fast, friendly, and reliable service for over 56 years. And now, let's get you back to the Block Party, streaming exclusively on OH.Report.
It's time now for episode 2 of our Top Shelf Highlights, and this time your vote decides our first ever volleyball play of the week. Nominee number 1 is Buckeye Central's Megan Seifert, who takes this out-of-system set from her sister Elise and pommels it down the middle of the carry back row. This screamer sent the Buckeyes on their way to a sweep of the Devils for sole control of the Northern 10 Conference. Centerburg's got a twin killing of digs on the docket from Molly Kane as nominee number 2 lays out for back-to-back digs against Heath. The sophomore libero has the Trojans in the driver's seat for another KMAC title after taking down Loudonville last Thursday night. Watch out, coming right up, says Colonel Crawford's Reese Redmond. The freshman is nominee number 3 as this ferocious swing finds the back corner against Winford. Nothing beats a good old block party. Jillian Weaver keeps it on theme as nom number 4. The senior leads this emerging Crestview squad as they sit 12-5 on the year in Cougar country. At number 5, Fredericktown brought the boom to the reservation. Maya Bryant doesn't hold back as this kill kicks right off the foot of the Mount Gilead libero. Those Freddies are hot, and they're right in the mix with Centerburg for a KMAC championship. Nominee number 6 comes from the Castle as this dink from Bucyrus' own Haley Stratton finds its way on our list. The senior led the effort for the Redmen as they swept a top dog in the KMAC earlier this week. Let's head to the Falcons' Nest for number 7. It's a cross-court beauty from Allie Morgan as she puts it on a platter for Kiki McFadden, who McFlies to the McNet for the McKill. Perfectly finds the back line as this play highlighted their sweep of Northwestern in the WCAL. Taking it to crunch time now from Mohawk High School. Gracie Miller had herself a dominant finish in the Warriors' win over Seneca East. How about back-to-back kills to cap off a comeback from 19-24 to end the match in a sweep? Buckeye Central may be in first place, but hey, Mohawk is right on their tails, fiending for a chance to tie the lead back up. And wrapping up the countdown at nominee number 9 is Brooklyn Cassidy, who watches her defense keep the volley alive just for her to end it right away on this kill that threads the needle between the Mohawk back line. That's our countdown. Leave a comment down below for your favorite highlight from the top shelf this week. We'll crown our first winner ever on episode 3 of the Block Party. We have had a lot of great stories in the game of volleyball this year, and I'll be honest, when I looked at Max Preps and saw that Crestview was 12-4 on the season, I had to go take a talk with Kenedi Goon, who's the first-year coach for the Lady Cougars, to talk about what is going on with that team to get them towards the top of the Firelands Conference standings. We welcome in Crestview head coach Kenedi Goon in her first season with the squad, and it's a pretty solid start to the season if you're Coach Kenedi. In that group, they start 12-5 as we are recording this here this Thursday afternoon. Coach, great stretch for you. Also, before we get into talking about this team, one of the stars on our very first ever OH.Report broadcast. We're doing some digging to find that game, and if we do, you'll see it on your screen right now. But great to see you back as a Crestview Cougar, leading this team, coming fresh out of college, teaching over at Shelby, but you're coaching with your Lady Cougars. What has it meant to you bringing this program back to the prominence that you had in some of your later years with the squad?
Yeah, it means everything to me. I mean, you guys bringing up that we were the first game you guys ever broadcasted, that's pretty awesome during those COVID years. But I know OH.Report's been great. Coming back to Crestview has been amazing for me. You know, my heart's always been at Crestview. Crestview volleyball especially shaped me into the person, the player that I turned into in college, and even part of who I am today. So getting back to that program when that opportunity came, I knew that I had to take action and apply for the position, and I just so happened to get it. And since then, I've been honored to work with these girls and just grow together and work together to achieve one goal and really bring the team culture back to Crestview and what the volleyball program used to be. So it's been amazing being back, and I hope to keep growing.
Absolutely. So you've won 6 of your last 8 games. What have you seen in practice the last few weeks where you kind of felt like this team's starting to click? Because that's what it feels like right now.
Yeah, definitely peaking at the right time of the season. We did start off a little rocky with a couple losses, but you know, we kept pushing, and one thing I really pushed this season with the girls is just team over self. Put the team first. We play for the team. We don't play for ourselves. We play for each other, and at the end of the day, like, you always have your team. So really pushing, again, like I mentioned earlier, the team culture aspect of the game, because I think that through college and stuff, I've learned that that's one of the most important parts of the game, and I think that's something that Crestview has lacked in the past few years. So that was my biggest priority, was to try to start fixing that now, and I think we've done a great job, and it's shown in practice the past few weeks especially. The girls are really, really, truly starting to click, and it's showing in games, and even if we're not getting W's, we're still making big strides against great competition. So
you've got a good mix of senior leadership. Just to talk about some of these players on your team, Jillian Weaver, along with some young stars like Zoe Kuhn, who's starting to take over in the attack. She's looked fantastic, especially in that game where we just saw the highlights against Upper Sandusky. Can you talk to me at length about those two players specifically and the growth you've seen in the summer, coming into this year, and of course this last couple of weeks where you've really started to click?
Yeah, Jillian and Zoe are both huge aspects to our team. They both can hit the ball like crazy, and that's great to have. I think that Ashland Volleyball Club right around the corner in our backyard is amazing. It's such a blessing to have a club that they can grow and develop in. So I know they both played club and improved a lot from last year, but the biggest thing I pushed on them, and not only them, others too, was just being a leader. And there can be more than leader on the court at a time on the team. So everyone can take a leadership role, and it might look different for each player, but I just ask that they try to lead by example and really be a good example for the underclassmen and just buy into the program and what I'm trying to do with it. So.
Well, we're going to be spotlighting the Northern 10 later on in the show, but I know I want to talk a little bit about the Firelands Conference because it's very top-heavy. You just took Monroeville to 4 sets, I believe, on Tuesday, and then you've got St. Paul a few games from now. Can you just tell me the message that you're sending to your girls as you try to figure out how you guys can get towards that upper echelon in the league?
Yeah, I just try to be super positive with them and just giving them confidence, because I think in the past they've struggled with just believing that they are capable of competing and playing well together. So yes, I'm hard on them, but also I just want more so of them to know that they are capable and they can compete, and when they play together as a team, they do amazing. For example, Monroeville the other night, we took St. Paul to 5 a couple weeks ago. That was huge for us. Even though it wasn't a win on the schedule, it was a win to me, to some of them, to a lot of our fans. I know it was a win. Like, the growth that we've seen from last year to this year is just huge, and being able to compete with those good teams in the Firelands Conference is amazing for us. So I'm super happy about that, and I just really want to make a name for Crestview volleyball again, because I think they've been looked down upon in the conference lately, and I think it's time that we bring it back up to the top. So we're working for that.
I love to hear that. Absolutely. And then I got to talk with Coach Kendra Mosier from MVNU. I know you're a Tiffin grad, just came out this past year. So as a college athlete, I asked the same question to Coach Mosier. What advice can you give, going away from Crestview right now, but what advice can you give to athletes that are tuning into this show and looking to play at the next level?
Yeah, I think with college ball, the most important thing is just working hard all the time and being coachable. It's hard. College is hard. College sports are hard. You can't expect to go to college and be an athlete and not be pushed to your limits mentally, physically, emotionally. It's hard. I think sticking with it and staying committed and staying dedicated, you're going to be successful. Also, you just grow a lot in college, and finding your teammates and learning how to be a great team player and just trusting the process. So I think that working hard is the biggest thing, never giving up, because there's always times that you're going to question, am I in the right spot? Should I have done this? But at the end of the day, if you're really dedicated and you love the sport, then you'll find a way to push through, and yeah, it will be a great opportunity. So, and it was for me, and college was amazing, and I couldn't have asked for a better 4 years. So.
Well, we didn't give you this next question. We're going to throw you a little bit of a curveball, but think back 2020, COVID era, some rinky-dink company shows up to Crestview High School and decides to broadcast your game and just comes up to show the broadcast. And here's the MVP interview, masks on and everything. What were you going through? What was going through your mind in this moment when Brian pulls up with one of those masks and starts talking to you over the air?
You know, that was pretty cool. Like, COVID was awful for us all just because, like, we could not have our fans and it wasn't the same vibe in the gym. So having that there for everyone to see and being able to tune in at home, and then Brian interviewing me after, that was pretty cool. That makes a kid feel pretty cool. So that was awesome, and we always appreciated you guys coming out and making us feel special even when we couldn't have all our fans there. So.
And we can't emphasize this enough. This is our first ever live stream. I think the score bug tells you it all. As we were still working on our graphics, things have gotten much better thanks to our producer, Adam Thompson, over in the wings. But Kenedi, thank you so much for your time. And you know that it wouldn't be an OH.Report interview without the last question being not even a question, just look into the camera and give any shout outs you want.
Yeah, shout outs to obviously first and foremost God and my family and my friends and all my coaches in the past that have inspired me and got me to where I am today. So I couldn't have done it without them, and hopefully I can make them all proud.
All right, Kenedi, congratulations on the good start to the season. We wish you the best of luck as you move forward in the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Talk about a throwback. Thanks so much to Kenedi Goon for joining us and talking about this season, and not only this season, but also our first ever broadcast, which happened to be a volleyball broadcast. And speaking of, we have plenty more of those coming up this next week that we'll get to highlight on episode 3 of The Block Party. Speaking of that, we're going to take a break and give you a chance to look at our presenting sponsor, Bob & Bob Door Company, as we come back with the N10 Conference Spotlight.
The Block Party, North Central Ohio's only volleyball show, is presented live and free to fans by the door experts at Bob & Bob Door Company, dedicated to providing fast, friendly, and reliable service for over 56 years. And now, let's get you back to The Block Party, streaming exclusively on OH.Report.
And welcome back to The Block Party, presented by Bob & Bob Door Company right here in Mansfield on the OH.Report. I'm Jonathan Langdon. It's time for one of our favorite segments on the OH.Report. It is time for the Conference Spotlight. If you were with us in episode 1, we talked about the KMAC at length. It's time to talk about the Northern 10 Conference. There are some studs in this league. We're going to look at the Northern 10 standings. Buckeye Central holds the lead right now with just one loss under their belt. They sit 8-1, 12-3 in overall on the season. Mohawk sits in second. They have been surging as of late. They are 7-2, tied along with Cary, the team that fell to Buckeye Central this past week, just before airing episode 1 of the show. So those are the top 3 contenders. Then you move down to a younger squad in Colonel Crawford that I really like moving forward in the next couple of seasons. They sit 5-4 in the league, 12-5 overall. They can make some noise in the postseason, just going up against really competitive teams towards the top end of this conference. Bucyrus sitting in 6th. That's a great spot for them. They've been on the up and up with their program under Coach Amber Christie that we heard from earlier on in the show. Also Winford sitting 2-7 in 7th, and then Upper Sandusky, a rougher year for them. They sit in 8th at a record of 2-14. We talked about Mohawk. They are surging as of late. I wanted to welcome in Eric Hoover, the head coach for that team, to talk to them about their first couple of wins this week. They took down St. Paul in 5 sets on Monday. They beat Seneca East via the sweep on Tuesday. So here's our conversation with Coach Hoover. Coach Eric Hoover from Mohawk. They're having a fantastic week here so far. As we talk to Coach, what a week for you guys, winning 2 games in as many days, some quality competition. You take down St. Paul on Monday, then you go and take down Seneca East on Tuesday. What did your girls do well in your eyes that got the job done in those 2 games?
Yeah, we really did a good job against St. Paul of, trying to be more consistent and eliminating our errors. We've struggled with that a little bit, making too many errors, and we did a good job of finding a way to win the close sets this time. We've the previous 2 weeks we struggled a little bit, and I think we haven't lost many the last couple of years, and we didn't handle it well when we lost the first one, and kind of got in a little bit of a rut. Didn't know how to handle it very well. So did a good job of really cleaning up some of the silly mistakes that we've been making, and found a way to beat a very good St. Paul team.
All right, and then the next day your team takes down Seneca East, second time this season, both via the sweep. They've got a star in Bryn Myers headed to Clemson, not next year, but the year after. Can you just talk to me about how you kind of focused in on her while also focusing in elsewhere to just make sure you kept high quality all across the board?
Yeah, I mean, a player as good as she is good. She's going to get her kills. She's going to get some. You can try to slow her down, and move the blocks around and make her have to think a little more and kind of adjust where you're going on defense. But she's going to get her kills. And so pretty much you got to take care of the ball yourself and do a great job in serve receive, so she doesn't get as many opportunities. Basically, the more we're attacking, the less good opportunities she gets, the better chance you have of winning. So we did a pretty good job of that for the most part. She is an outstanding player and had an outstanding game, but overall we were able to make runs when we needed to win each set.
I think it's a great summary that a team led by her is just in the middle of this conference. It's such a tough league. Both of your losses were in 5-set thrillers, and you're going to have a second chance at both of those teams coming up. You've got Cary next week. You've got Buckeye Central in October. Just take the time to brag about your league, and then also tell me what it'll take for you guys to finish out on top.
Yeah, we've got a very balanced league, top to bottom. and it's been that way ever since we started the league in about 2014, I believe it was. It's been a very competitive league, much more so compared to what we used to have. We had some teams that really struggled in our old league with the MAL. And so now there's no nights off. Like, you have to be ready to play every night, or you're going to find yourself in trouble. And we lost a couple of those tight ones. And if you're not bringing your A game, there's going to be people who can beat you, and that's exactly what Carey and Buckeye did. They definitely took advantage. Buckeye's been an outstanding program for decades, and they will continue to be so. And that's just we've had everybody throughout the league has had good runs, and so when you put them all together, it makes for good competition.
Well, absolutely, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
And that is going to do it for episode number 2 of The Block Party. So much love on the first episode. I look forward to hearing from you all about this next episode. And we're excited to continue mowing through this volleyball season. Great to spotlight the N10 today. Great to spotlight the KMAC last week. Let us know what conference we should highlight next week as well. Want to thank all of the coaches who joined us on the air today. Kenedi Goon, the head coach for Crestview, Eric Hoover, who you just heard from Mohawk, and then also a shout out to my producer, Adam Thompson, as we wrap up proceedings here from our OH.Report studios for episode 2 of The Block Party, and a shout out, a special one, to Bob and Bob Door Company, taking you along the way this season with us for the rest of the series. Next week's going to be a special episode. Make sure you watch out for us right here on the OH Report.